Hi, my name's Nicole. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to focus on the topic of microphone basics. So you should find this information useful if you're looking to set up a home studio and want to know what type of microphone is best going to meet your needs. First of all, we'll talk about the microphone as a transducer and explain what that means. Then we'll look at the two main types of microphones used to record audio for music production, namely dynamic microphones and condenser microphones. Then we'll delve into two particular specifications of mics, frequency response and polar patterns. So let's get started. The basic function of a microphone is to be a transducer, which just means it converts one type of energy into another type of energy, and it tries to do that with as little variation from the original source as possible. So, for example, when a person sings, they cause sound pressure variations to travel through the air, and these are converted by the microphone into voltage variations in a wire. Now, the process of transduction through a microphone is never perfect. There's always going to be some variation between the original source and what it's converted to. And that's because the microphone itself can't help but affect the signal in some way. And there are a lot of different mics out there. They're built differently, they function differently, meet different needs. So we're going to talk about the two main types that you're most likely to come across for recording music. These are dynamic microphones and condenser microphones. Dynamic mics are stage mics. They're great for live, on-stage recording because they don't pick up outside a small area, which is why you see singers practically pressing their lips against them when they sing. They're also built very rugged and travel well, and they don't require any external power. Condenser mics, on the other hand, are studio mics. They're not at all rugged. In fact, they're very sensitive, which is why they're not generally used on stage for live recording. They just pick up too much sound from speakers and they can cause feedback. They need external power or phantom power to run, and large diaphragm condenser mics are recommended for home studios because they pick up audio very accurately. Now, the reason that condenser mics pick up audio accurately and transparently is because of their frequency response, which is what we're going to talk about now. Mics are designed with different purposes in mind, and when you buy one, you should always look at the frequency response chart that comes with it. It shows you the frequencies that the microphone is designed to pick up well, and those that it rejects. On any chart, you can see the frequency in hertz on the horizontal axis and the response in decibels on the vertical. If there was a flat line running straight across the middle at 0 decibels, then that would indicate that the microphone was equally sensitive to all frequencies and it wouldn't exaggerate or reduce any particular frequencies. Such a microphone doesn't actually exist, but condenser mics are built to be relatively even across frequencies. So they're known as flat frequency mics, even though flat is a relative term here. Dynamic microphones like this one, however, are often used for recording vocals, so they're designed to make the most of the frequencies of the human voice. And you can see here that in the chart for this dynamic mic, there's a peak around 5,000 hertz, which helps the voice to sound good. But it isn't necessarily what you'd want when recording perhaps a trumpet or a double bass. So it's important to choose a microphone with a frequency response that's suited to your needs. Another thing to be aware of is the polar pattern of your microphone. The polar pattern describes what area around the microphone it picks up really well and what it rejects. It's represented here in diagram form, where the shape around the microphone indicates whether it picks up audio just from the front or the front and the sides or all the way around. A dynamic microphone on stage is designed to just pick up sound from the front, right where the singer's mouth is. On the other hand, an omnidirectional microphone will pick up all the way around the microphone equally well. Some condenser microphones also have a built-in switch, where you're able to change the polar pattern of the microphone. I'm going to use my blue snowball condenser mic just to demonstrate this. The first setting activates a cardioid polar pattern, which is what I've been using so far in this tutorial. It's the best setting for speech and vocals, and it's most similar to a dynamic microphone. Now I've just switched to setting 2, which is also a cardioid polar pattern, but with a -10 decibel pad. That's meant for live music and loud sound sources. Finally, now I'm on the third switch position to make the microphone omnidirectional, so it picks up sounds from all around. You can hear how different my voice sounds on each setting, so be aware of your polar patterns when buying a microphone. I hope you've enjoyed this introduction to microphone basics. We've covered a lot, looking at the microphone as a transducer, discussing the differences between dynamic and condenser mics, and getting an overview of frequency response and polar patterns. Take your time and do your research when buying a microphone, as there's a lot to consider. I hope I've made the process a little bit easier. Thank you.